Hello everyone, welcome to Redbus US channel. In this video, we'll look at the H1B 2023 lottery registration numbers that were quietly updated by USCIS on their website today. So we'll compare that with last year's numbers, and we'll look at if there is a chance for a second round lottery as well. So this is what we'll cover in this video. Look at the background and how many were submitted, and what percentage was selected and how many employees were there and all sorts of things, right? So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do subscribe for getting regular updates. Okay, where is official news, right? I mean, there is no press alert given today. So many are wondering where this news come from. US has quietly updated their website. If you go to their H1B registration page, you can actually see this particular updates that you can see as we highlighted on the screen, right? So you can read that, but it doesn't give you comparison of last. So that's what we've done an analysis of that and how the whole thing's changed. So that's what we'll cover. Now, if you're new, just a quick update on the background, right? So USA started H1B season, and they accepted registrations from March 1st to March 18th of this year. And then, they took about almost a week to come with the results. And in fact, they released over a weekend, so many people were confused if the results were out or not. And finally, they released an official press note on March 29th telling that they've informed everybody. So in fact, so that's where there was a lot of confusion when the results came out. But they did not really release any numbers in the first round lottery results when they released this press release. So they quietly updated these numbers earlier today. So that's why we are posting this video on the same. So in terms of numbers, right? So this is the highest ever H1B registration numbers ever filed with USCIS, right? 483,927. So we rounded it around 484K, but it's a significant number, in terms of registrations. I've never seen a number like this. We've been tracking this for over the last 10 plus years, and this is like crazy, and some people were telling it's going to be like 500,000, and in fact, it almost touched there. So if you look at the ratio, right, in terms of availability of visas, H1B visa cap versus how many were filed, it's about 5.69. And what it means is that, for every open slot, right, of H1B visa cap, there are close to 6 registrations that were submitted. It's crazy, right? You look at the lottery, odds are getting thinner and thinner. And if you were to file this year, right, the chances of selection were basically 17.56%. And if you round it off, right, basically what it means is that, right, if let's say there were 100 registrations submitted, only 17 would be selected in the H1B lottery. So, this is pretty crazy, right? So this is how bad it looks, and how bad the selections results were this year. So that's how these numbers look. Now, let's look at the comparison with last year's data, right? So if you look at last year, we had about 308,613. You can see the graph from 2004 all the way till 2023, right? You see the graph keeps climbing up and up, right? I mean, it's crazy. So when we had all these petitions that were filed using paper-based, it was 85,000. And then since 2013-14, we had a slight uptick, even though there were there were paper filings. Many were still submitting because, always there are more people applying for this, right? And then, it went up, and then it went down. And then, again, it went up to 275K. And, last year was a significant number. But if you see the numbers from 2021, FY 2021, it's been since the registration were introduced, it's 275, 308, 308, and 483. I don't know what the number for next year looks like, right? It's so it just tells the demand, and or it could be how bad the system has been abused. Also, you can look at it that way as well, right? And if, on a numbers perspective, it's a 57% increase in H1B registrations for FY 23. In terms of how many were selected, they were selected about 127,600 for this fiscal year, And in terms of last year, they selected 87,500 in the first round. So this again, very, very important. First round. Last year we had 3 rounds of lottery. Remember that, right? So now if you look at additional registrations that are selected compared to last year, it's almost 40,100 more, right? This year, how they're selected. And in terms of percentage of selection, they selected about 45% more. And why did they come up with this number, right? Usually they have a metric on how many rejections happen, how many withdrawals happen, how many are denied. Also, they have some kind of metrics, right? So what they did this year is they basically looked looked at a different perspective, right? Because they did second round lottery and they selected 27K, and about third round lottery they were 16K. So they add up to 44,470. And all in all, they said that, okay, we selected 44K more. Now, if we can do that more this year, then we might as well meet the number in the first round. Yeah. So that's probably the rationale analysis, right? That's how it looks like, why they selected a lot more than last year. So that's how it looks, right? Now, in terms of employers and master's quota filings, right? So totally there were about 48,000 prospective employers who submitted, meaning about 48,000 unique employers submitted for H1 registrations. So you can think of like a simple metric of 48 times 10. That's 48,000, and each of them submit 10, that's 480K, But, there are some companies who file hundreds of, I would say thousands of registrations. So it doesn't work like that. Only one of them are submitting 10. And when you compare that with last year, we had about 37,000 employees. So that's an increase of 29%, in terms of employers. Now, looking at master's cap, we had about 150K that were filed this year, and based on 31%, right? They told that about 31% were master's cap. Last year, 48% were master's cap. So it was about 148K, and the difference was very meager. It's about a 1.27% increase. So not much, right? So one important insight here is the number of people applying for H1B within the US, either an F1 visa or OPT or STEM OPT, they pretty much remain constant. Nothing has changed. Now, the biggest change is the numbers that actually coming from the regular cap. So if you look at this year, there were 16% regular cap applications, and that accounts to 160K petitions, right? And, it's just turned other way around, right? So it's actually 2023. I just flipped the numbers, so please ignore that. So if you look at for FY 2023, it was 333K 910. So the numbers on the screen are slightly garbled, so just ignore that, please. The overall, the change is 173%. 173,431, and overall that adds up to 108% increase. So overall, it's 108% increase is very significant. To some extent, many things could be there are many open positions for all these outsourcing companies, and there is removal of travel restrictions. But again, this does not justify that, right? There's definitely some fraud involved, right? That's what it's suspect, right? In general, if you look at the overall summary, right? There is definitely more registrations that were filed this year. Because there is more demand, that is obvious, but the number is pretty crazy, and it's so high that it will raise alarm bells in all across companies and law firms. So there'll be definitely some lawsuits or something that will be done. That's my gut feel, right? In fact, last year there was a lawsuit filed, but it didn't go too far on this. But this year there might be something that might happen. In fact, there was some attempt done in the last years to move this to wage levels, but it was actually cancelled by court. So that also had a dead end. So we have to see how USCIS is going to tackle these duplicates and all of that, right? USCIS did put in a note telling that they're going to enforce more of these additional checks when people are trying to collude and do these multiple registrations. But again, we don't know the results of this until something comes out. So again, only time will tell these things, so we'll have to wait and see. Lastly, in terms of will there be second round lottery? So this is $1 million question, right? Many people who applied, 500,000, more than 500,000 people who applied for this, and okay, what are my chances? So already your chance, will there be second lottery? So they selected 42,600 more than the required cap. So that's a 50% buffer they have taken, and it's similar to last year, right? Over entire 3-round lotteries. So their goal is to see if they can get all the registrations within one lottery rather than running another extra round of lottery. Only we will see that how it will pan out. But just to give a comparison over the period of when we had physical filings, so they were only selecting 15%, 12 to 15%. What you see on the screen is the table from 2013 to 2017. They were only selecting 15 to 13 to 15%, which was very low. Now that has gone up to 50%. So it's pretty significantly higher. Of course, there are some changes in the way they file and everything. But overall, it does not justify that, right? All in all, it's too early to say if there will be a second round lottery or not. If most of if a good amount of them, right, that were filed for H1B FY 2023 or genuine or reasonably genuine, then we may not have a second round lottery. But all of, what are the odds of all of these registration to be bona fide? Yeah. So there has been there could be a potential, a lot of fraud that have been done, or, it's possible, right? We only unless there is a detailed analysis or a detailed, probe done into this, we will not know. So we'll have to wait and see what will come out of this and how lawyers are going to react to these numbers. So yeah, that's about, we might do another analysis on the second round lottery. So stay tuned for our channel. Again, thank you for watching, kind of a long video. Thank you for watching again, and do subscribe for getting regular updates.